doctor, give me the news.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Doctors Friday news feed. We're going to start with the first look at Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with Mama June.
All new Dr. Phil.
Who's in the middle there?
It's Alana.
You took her to meet a registered sex offender.
The explosive Mama June interview.
Your daughter said, he did this to me. Why would you let him come around the girls knowing what he did?
A daytime exclusive.
I made a mistake.
People make mistakes. It's the cover-up and not the mistake that creates the biggest problem.
All new Dr. Phil.
And that full interview with Dr. Phil, that will air on Monday. Obviously, this has been in the news, not just with Honey Boo Boo, but nationally.
Well, I mean, it was such a big
internationally.
deal that, in fact, TLC has canceled their show, and they had been on for years.
Yes.
Well, you know, I'm gonna have to clap with you, and I think I handed TLC. They probably would have made bank.
Of course.
With all the controversy, would have made it even juicier, but you can't buy into that kind of behavior.
And what person, whether you're a parent or not, can sit there and put yourself in that position of endangering your child? And I think the point here is it's not about the past, really. I mean, yes, it speaks to character of this type of thing, but it's about what are you going to do moving forward? What is the future? And there are children involved. That is our number one responsibility
You know
as
who I
parents.
felt bad for in this whole escapade? From the beginning, even before these allegations, it's the kids like Honey Boo Boo.
Yes.
I don't watch the show. I've never watched 1 second of it.
Travis.
But I haven't, but it's in the news. You can't help but hear about it. And if you even look at Honey Boo Boo there, apparently she's gained weight, stress levels are high. I can only imagine, as a child, how much stress this puts
This is
on
not a
you.
normal environment.
Her whole experience growing up on TV at that age, she's 7, 8 years old now, clearly overweight, which we know how unhealthy that is. And then her mother, this behavior with this alleged, well, we know he's a sex offender, but whether she's truly having a relationship with him, we don't know.
I mean, you can't find one other man who's not a known sex offender to be with.
Exactly.
Well, it's, you know, the entire scenario is a bit befuddling, and we'll certainly look forward to watching that interview with Dr. Phil on Monday. Let's move on because the fashion world is dominating the headlines this week.
The fashion industry is larger than life this week. Old Navy is under fire and being called sizist after it was revealed they were charging more for women's plus-size clothing, but not men's larger sizes. From double standards to double digits, Calvin Klein broke the mold with their Perfect Fit campaign by including a size 10 model. While many are applauding the brand for their choice, people are upset that fashion publications are calling the size 10 model plus size. And last but not least, from large sizes to large life cover girls, Kim Kardashian is gracing the cover of Paper magazine. In true Kim form, she's not holding back, rather showing her backside and all of it. Too much for a mag, or is it just creative artistry?
I mean...
So we'll start with Kim K here on the cover of Paper magazine. We can't show these images on daytime TV. This is a more like this is the sort of classic Grace Jones recreated image.
What is going on
the
back
projection
there?
of that now. We know that she's had some help on the backside, whether they're implants or some fat transfer, for sure. But that photo has been retouched without doubt. I mean,
What about this one?
Well,
this is the one we can't show you. I mean, this is we're looking at her backside completely naked.
Travis,
I don't know what to say.
that does not occur in nature like that.
Not even in Brazil.
Not even in Brazil. I mean, you couldn't stuff that much fat in her butt.
It does not look normal.
But can we just, like, stop the madness already? We're giving her the attention that she wants, whether it's real or not. Can we go back to, like, why she's famous? What is her major accomplishment?
Didn't it all
and
start with a little video?
I mean, yeah, come on.
Well,
she's a mother now. Like,
and she's riding the wave. I'm not saying she couldn't balance a cup on her derriere.
come on. Look at
Let's try it.
All right, here. Where are you, buddy?
Is there coffee in there?
Hey, be careful.
Hey, he did it!
Wait, Drew. We're not done yet.
Now, that would be a feat if I could balance
We
it
put
down.
that on the cover of a magazine. That magazine would not sell at all.
Well, your backside is like this table.
It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But what is amazing to me is I do every time we cover stories like this, I ask myself over and over again,
Why? Why?
how she is so famous. And then part of it is she's pushing the envelope with these pictures, the full frontal nude. And hey, I always say to each their own. And if she wants to do this, then that's all power to her. But I mean, these images.
Listen, I don't
are
have
shocking.
I honestly have no problem with posing nude, but don't we want to take some ownership for the realness of your body and the artistry of if everything is airbrushed and photoshopped, why do it?
This is not, again, I'm sorry I can't show this to everyone. That's not
I've
attractive.
seen it, Travis.
It's just not.
I know.
It's not. Drew?
It's out there. It's curvaceous.
Whatever.
Well, speaking of curvaceous, so Calvin Klein, they have a new Perfectly Fit ad campaign. It's been causing some controversy. Why? Well, the internet's buzzing over size 10 model Mila Dalbicio.
What is size 10 about that?
So apparently she has called herself a bigger girl, and so people have labeled her as a plus-size model.
Listen.
But there's nothing plus-size about that except for maybe.
That is a normal-looking girl. That is a healthy-looking girl.
No, she's not normal-looking. She's kind of a 10 out of 10.
She's hot, yes.
She's
Yeah. I don't know
pretty
how-
beautiful,
That's
if
not
I may.
really average. But why can't we just do away with it? First of all, those sizes, they don't really mean anything anyway, because you walk into one store, you're a 10. You walk into another store, you're an 8. You're a 12. Why can't you just say you're healthy, you look good in your clothes, you feel good in your skin?
Yeah, but you know, compared to these other models, that's the issue. They're such waifs. They're almost anorexic looking with the breasts stuck on them. We call that on a stick. Not that it's all bad. It's not all that
I wouldn't
bad.
know.
But
Sadly.
But, you know, that's the message that they're pushing out there. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
It's an ideal that nobody's
But
going
what I applaud with this is that you don't have to look malnourished or, as we say, medically cachectic. I don't think that that's the aesthetic that's attractive. It's not real. It's not normal. It's not achievable. I'm so
You
proud.
actually just used the word cachectic on TV.
Yes, I did.
That's impressive.
Yeah, there you go.
But would you agree that the one reason that I would understand why the internet is a buzz is when you look at Mila, the fact that she views herself
I
as
like
a
how you're on a
bigger-
first name basis.
It just shows you the world of
people
modeling
that she
is
has to
absurd.
work with. They take their clothes off together while they're changing, and she looks at those skinny ones and goes, "Whoa, I'm big."
Well, I think it's also important there are ethnic and cultural differences in what is considered attractive. I mean, there are plenty of ethnic groups that find nothing attractive about a woman that looks like this pen.
Well, the average model has a 22 to 26-inch waist, 5'9" to 6 foot. The average U.S. woman, a 27.5-inch waist, and is 5'3". Why don't we pick models that are a little more
There you
like
go.
the average person?
Well, there's that
That's
happy
how-
medium. And
Because of this.
Well,
and getting back to being a realist, there are many people out there who are quote-unquote plus size. Really quickly, Calvin Klein, they did not label Mila
Right.
plus size at all. They admit to that. They actually say the Perfectly Fit line was created to celebrate and cater to the needs of different women, and these images are intended to communicate that our new line is more inclusive and available in several silhouettes in an extensive range of sizes. So, speaking of an extensive range of sizes, Old Navy
Love
is
that store.
charging more for women's
stuff.
plus size clothing.
Ridiculous.
And I guess there are some scenarios where they're charging $12 to $15 more for the plus size clothing. The men's plus size clothing is the same price.
Oh, shocker.
Really quickly, before we even get into this, I want to read the statement from Gap Inc., the parent company of Old Navy, because it is important. Their statement says, Old Navy is proud to offer styles and apparel designed specifically for our plus-size female customer, which includes curve-enhancing and curve-flattering elements, such as four-way stretch materials and contoured waistbands, which most men's garments do not include. This higher price point reflects the selection of unique fabrics.
Hey, I
and
want them
design
too.
elements.
Why can't we have it too?
That's
Flex design,
I don't know,
Exactly.
Drew.
blah, blah, blah. But having spent time in New York, you and I, we know a little bit about the garment industry. And
Yes.
this markup, $12 to $15 more.
I don't buy it.
I mean, you could have gold lame lining for that, right?
Right.
Almost.
I mean, the profit margins in most retail outlets they're massive. And so you can't tell me that you're adding 2 inches of fabric and that requires a $15 increase in price. I'm sorry. I mean, I know I'm blonde, but I wasn't.
Is it real? Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's interesting. There's a
I wasn't born
change.org.
yesterday, seriously.
Agree with this change.org petition? I guess 25,000 plus people have signed it saying, look, we got to end this, calling it, in a way, price discrimination.
I think that it is.
But if it does cost more to make the garment, let's just say it costs $2 more, would you be okay with that increase, or is this more of a
No,
price gouging?
I think it's price gouging. That is, listen, again, I'm not the retail money maven, but that's all got to be built into their price structure. You know, then are you going to discount a size 0 or a size 2?
But if
I mean,
it takes more work and stitching and design in a bigger model to try to make the figure
I don't
look
believe
better.
it. I don't believe it.
I tried.
I think it's price discrimination, and I think that
Why?
they better.
That's the question
Because
I have, is why?
15 to I want to see the balance sheet that shows me
Whoa.
that the extra.
You're doing like an internal audit here.
I'm going to whip out my calculator. I want to see the balance sheet that shows me that the minimal amount of extra stretch that they're putting in the side panel translates to a need to charge $15 more at the cash register.
Okay.
You know what?
Sorry.
I've had my fashion fill for the day. No more
Really?
fashion talk
Yeah.
during this show.
Just wear scrubs.
Well, you just went. Yeah, but they've trimmed your scrubs. Remember the old days? It used to be like a
Yeah?
plus size.
These are custom made.
Yeah, that's why I can barely get it off.
You can't get it off.
I want to move on because we lost actor and comedian Robin Williams back in August, but new reports alleging what may have led to his suicide, it's shocking fans worldwide.
Robin Williams' death left his adoring fans heartbroken, but recent news about his suicide has left many shocked. It's being reported that along with Robin's Parkinson's disease, he was also suffering from a form of dementia called Lewy body. Sources are saying Williams' condition and medication caused him to have hallucinations and paranoia, which may have led to his untimely death.
Just to clarify, Lewy bodies can be found in an autopsy, and apparently during Robin's autopsy, they found these Lewy bodies, which are abnormal proteins that build up on the nerve cells, can lead to a form of dementia. But what's interesting is Lewy bodies, not an unexpected finding in someone who had Parkinson's,
Right.
because it can be found in autopsy in patients who had Parkinson's dementia. The question, of course, is cause-effect. And we're hearing all these reports. It's like, well, did Parkinson's lead to a suicide? Did Lewy body dementia? Was it depression? The one thing we do know, Drew, is people had said, well, did he relapse drug and alcohol? There was no sign or trace of drugs or alcohol.
And that's a big thing that came out of the autopsy,
Yes.
that everybody was speculating, oh, he had been drinking and was on all sorts of drugs. That was not the case. Clearly, he was depressed. But, you know, the whole complex of dementia, Parkinson's, and depression, they go hand in hand. They can all be part of any one of those disease processes.
There can be overlap.
100%, you know, and I saw it with my own mother who succumbed to dementia, and she had Parkinson-like symptoms
And-
also.
It's dangerous to start saying, okay, well, this leads to this. You know, the last thing we want is people out there thinking, okay, well, if you have Parkinson's, then that's going to lead you to suicide. This is a very complex, we don't know.
And here's what's very important, and I would really encourage people at home to think about this if someone they know or love gets a diagnosis of Parkinson's. The first thing that should be done is for an extensive, this is Medicine 101, extensive history, including medication history, to be taken on that person, because some of the medications that we use to treat psychosis, depression, mental illness, can stay in the system a long time. They can actually give you symptoms that overlap with those of early Parkinson's.
100%.
So you want to make sure you get the right diagnosis. The other thing, and I tell the people this all the time, there's no corner on the market with, oh, you can only get one diagnosis. You can have a history of substance abuse. You can have depression. You can have Parkinson's. You can have dementia. They can overlap, but as you're saying, Travis, it's not that one leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. You can have more than one.
Or that there's some blood test you can just send out and say, you know what? This is what you had. This is what caused.
You know, the aging process in the brain is going to affect, yes, the area that gives you Parkinson's, the area that gives you dementia, the area that may lead to depression, they all overlap.
Right.
That's why you really need to be in the hands of an expert when it comes to these changes to analyze all those things.
But I love what you highlighted there, which is, first things first, what are the medicines you're on?
Right.
What are the potential side effects? How does that whole milieu affect you?
Right.
Because obviously we all lost a wonderful person in Robin Williams. Particularly our thoughts and prayers are with his family during this time of grief. And certainly if you are out there, we said this many times before, and you're suffering, whether it's concerns about dementia, depression, seek help before it's too late. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, chronic sleep deprivation.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's been an 11, a 20, a 30.
When you've tried everything and nothing works, what's next? And later, how to treat the worst type of acne and get beautiful, glowing skin. That's later. Now back to the show.
Getting a newborn to sleep through the night is expected for most parents, but imagine having a 6-year-old who's had only a few good nights of sleep her entire life. This has been happening to Leah, and it's tearing her family apart.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's been an 11, a 20, a 30. There's no way of expressing how hard life is with Haley right now, and it's been hard for years. We had Haley 6 years ago, and she didn't have a normal sleeping pattern for an infant. She doesn't nap. She'll just scream, but she won't actually sleep a solid couple hours like most babies. We've maxed out the melatonin. We've maxed out sleepy time teas. We've tried Adderall, Clonidine, Aryan root, catnip, lavender baths, massages, calming music, everything. And we got nothing out of it. And she just would go 40, 48 hours no sleep. She was diagnosed with sensory integration disorder when she was 3. She was diagnosed with ADHD. She's biting, scratching, throwing things. The last diagnosis was oppositional defiant disorder. I don't know what to do because she's got these diagnoses and I don't feel like they're all real. It's almost like she's just completely out of her mind. She can't control herself at all. She's shown moments of being so smart and able to process things in such a way that I know she could do so well in school, but she can't stop. It breaks her heart. And I mean, there's been dozens of times where my husband and I we've thought about, is it our fault? Did we mess up our first child? Because, our 2-year-old, she sleeps great. And it's like night and day. It makes you feel really, really out of control as a mother. And all I want is for her to just be able to sit down for a minute and just be able to talk to me and to be able to sleep, too. I worry so much that it's gonna affect her later in life.
We sent Leah and her daughter Haley to board-certified sleep medicine specialist Dr. Raj Dasgupta for some answers.
Well, Mom, let me ask you a couple things. When does she usually go to bed? Can you give me a ballpark?
It varies. Every single night is different. Some nights she might crash out at 11.
Right.
Other nights she'll stay up till 4, 5, 6.
Does it take her a while to fall asleep, or does she fall asleep right away?
She does not fall asleep right away.
After she does fall asleep, how long does it take her to wake up again after she gets her first sleep period?
Sometimes it's within an hour.
What time does she usually start her day?
We try to start at 7:30 because she gets ready for school and...
So is this going to be the schedule for weekdays and weekends, holidays, and vacations?
Oh, yeah, 100% around the clock.
Do you hear her breathing at night.
Sometimes I do, yes.
So you haven't heard, per se, snoring.
Yes, I have heard some snoring.
When she's sleeping, have you ever noticed that she kind of maybe extends her neck a little bit?
Yes,
Really?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. I've never heard that question asked before.
Does she have her tonsils still?
Yes, she does.
Is there any history of sleep disordered breathing in your family?
Yes, both
There
my
is.
parents.
I'm just gonna take a look in the back of your mouth.
Will it hurt?
Not even a little. Can you go? I think we should start off with using a little device that's non-invasive called actigraphy. It's something that will tell me what she's doing every day, her normal routine, and what it does is kind of like an activity monitor. This is an actigraph. You are gonna be wearing this special watch. Last but not least, you know, I think we're focusing on the sleep, we're focusing on insomnia, but please see a developmental behavioral pediatrician. Very, very subspecialized. I just don't want to miss anything.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it so much. You have no idea how tired we are.
Leah joins us as well as Dr. Raj. And so you evaluated Haley, as we saw in that piece. What did you find?
Let me just start off with saying this. If you had to give me a ballpark about Haley's average hours of sleep per night, what would you say?
I'd say she probably gets a good 4 to 5 hours total.
Okay. Well, we found out, analyzing her sleep for about 7 days, that she actually sleeps an average of 8 hours per night.
Wow.
Really?
And her sleep, what we call efficiency, was very good. At 85% of the time, she was sleeping well. But what was actually very interesting is the fact that her average bedtime was past midnight. And she would wake up averagely past 9:30, almost close to 10 a.m. in the morning. So this tells me two things. Number one, she's getting enough sleep. So you're doing a great job in getting the amount of sleep, but is that refreshing quality sleep that we talked about? So based upon the time schedule, she has what we call delayed sleep phase syndrome. And we see that mainly in teenagers, where you have what we call the night owl.
Yeah.
The teenager that goes to bed like around 3 in the morning, then wakes up very late. You got it.
Yeah.
But it's not as common in children, but someone Haley's age, which is 6 years of age, needs to go to bed before 9 p.m. She's going to bed past
So you
midnight.
actually could look at this sleep pattern and find a connection between her behavior and this delayed bedtime.
Yes.
And this
It
is
seems
why
like they've tried everything. Is there anything else that parents can do?
I want to mention one thing. Let's talk about melatonin, because you mentioned it many times to me, and I wanted to say that melatonin does two things. One, people refer to it as a sedative, but it really functions more to change your circadian rhythm. So it's not just taking the melatonin, increasing the dose and dose. A very small dose, like 0.5 milligrams, given at the right time, the timing of the melatonin, that will actually pull your circadian rhythm in the correct way. And that will actually make a difference instead of just increasing the dose and giving it as a sleeper.
So parents are probably trying to give it right before bedtime.
And that's your natural instinct. Oh, you're going to bed, here's your melatonin. But you got to give it every night, and in your case, let me be specific. Every night between 8 and 9, you need to give that melatonin.
But I think you'd probably also agree, Jim, before you give melatonin to a child, you absolutely want to speak to the pediatrician and the sleep specialist.
There's so many things you got to make sure that's going right.
But I'm
or wrong.
glad we're discussing this, and we do have a treat. I would like to meet the precocious Haley. Would you not? Everyone here? So Haley,
she's
come on
taking
out.
a nap backstage.
Leah, she's like a mini-me.
You want to give a high five?
Oh, wow. You're cute. So, Haley, was that fun doing the sleep? Oh, look at you. You're on TV.
We are out of time, but I think the real takeaway here is, you know, if you feel like you or your child is struggling with a sleep disorder, the best thing to do is see a sleep specialist just like Dr. Raj, who has so many answers, so many tricks and tips. And Haley, thank you for coming on the show. All right. We really appreciate it. And Dr. Raj, thank you as well. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, chronic cystic acne.
It does make me feel very self-conscious, and I do have a lack of confidence in myself.
How to get clear, beautiful skin so you can stop hiding and start living life to its fullest. And later, there's something in your kitchen you never thought you could use to open a tough package.
You know the ones where you about cut your finger off every time?
Find out what it is when we reveal today's doctor's prescription. That's later.
Our next guest is Jasmine, a makeup artist who has mastered the art of concealing her own face from a lifetime of devastating skin problems. Let's check out her story.
Usually when people look at me, since I'm normally wearing makeup, they wouldn't really notice anything different about me. But underneath that makeup, I do have cystic acne. When you see me without makeup, you do notice that I am different. I have a lot of scarring. Many might really find it unsightly, which I myself do as well. I do not work full-time as a makeup artist. It's something I do desire to do, but I do lack the confidence that I need to continue pressing forward. I've also been told before, how can you expect someone to trust you doing your makeup when you can't even take care of your own skin? That's all people see when they look at me, like they're not paying attention to anything else. I would like most for my skin to just clear up so I don't have to deal with the comments that people do make towards me. Just to have clear skin, to be able to walk out of the house without any makeup on and worry about people staring at my face. That sounds the best to me. That would be amazing for me.
Jasmine hadn't seen a dermatologist for years. We sent her to Dr. Glynis Ablon to seek some answers.
So it's important to understand when you're dealing with acne that there are 4 main things that cause acne. The first is the bacteria that live on our skin. The second thing is what are called the secretions of the face. The third thing is what are called sticky cells. The cells don't turn over as they naturally should. And the fourth and final thing that causes acne tends to be hormones. Now, when you say that you've done the oral contraceptives and it hasn't really helped the acne, then we tend to leave that alone for now, and we go with the first 3 things that I mentioned. So I'm gonna get you on some prescriptions.
Okay.
I don't like to do long-term oral medications, especially antibiotics, because you can become resistant. But when you are very inflamed as you are, I typically do like to do a short course of that. I'm gonna put you on topicals in the morning and topicals in the evening. And the most important thing to know is the topical I'm gonna put you on at night is a version what's called Tazarotene. And it is the one prescription product we have to treat scars. In the meantime, to kind of speed everything up, what I'd like to do are 3 other things that I find help with cystic acne. Number 1, we will inject those larger cysts. We put a low dose of cortisone in there, and it shrinks up those larger cysts. The second thing that we're gonna do is beta-hydroxy acid peel. And what that does is it helps with the cell turnover. And finally, we're gonna put you under what's called LED technology, or light. It kills bacteria, and it takes down the inflammation. So we'll get you on that regimen, and then we will see you back here in 1 month.
Okay, sounds good.
Jasmine joins us along with board-certified dermatologist Dr. Glynis Ablon. And Jasmine, applause to you, because I know you don't like to leave the house without your makeup on. Yet, here you are today. I know you're not wearing any foundation. I know that's hard for you. But thank you for doing that, because this is a problem that you've been suffering with in silence. You've seen Dr. Ablon now. Have you noticed any improvements since that first session?
I actually have noticed improvements. When I first saw her, I had a big cyst on my cheek right here, and it's already gone. It's flat.
And Dr. Ablon, clearly with what we saw on the tape, you're doing some new things. I mean, this is the treatment of chronic cystic acne has changed.
It has, and because she has actually tried oral contraceptives and it hasn't improved the acne, I wanted to try a different route, which is to get more inflammation down in her face and clear those cysts up as well.
And that's why staying on top of those steroid injections to cut that inflammation so it does not turn into scar.
This is why it was so smart for you to go to see Dr. Ablon. This is why anyone out there suffering with chronic acne, there can be a medical cause, there can be other reasons causing the inflammation. But here's what's really cool. Dr. Ablon has graciously offered you to treat you for the next 4 months for free to get this under control. So thank you for bravely sharing. But what's really cool, Jasmine's gonna share her makeup tips with us. It'll be on our website, thedoctorstv.com. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, what should you do when your pet is acting jealous? Ask the vet. He has the answer to combat this problem once and for all. And later, we are revealing a simple tweak you can make to your eyebrows to make you look younger today. That's later.
I have a question for the vet. I have 2 dogs, and one of my dogs just had intense surgery, and I was wondering, now that I'm going to be having to give more attention to him, how will the younger dog react to that? Will she be getting jealous?
Great question. He's our favorite veterinarian. Dr. Courtney Campbell is in the house. Some insight. I love this.
Yes.
On whether or not your dogs can display jealousy.
This is actually very true. But more importantly, there's a really good scientific study that just came out of UCSD that provided scientific documentation of dogs displaying actual jealous behaviors. They had a stuffed dog, and then they had their own dog, just a toy dog, and these dogs would come in and try and get in between the toy dog. They would whine. Some dogs actually snarled or actually bit at the stuffed animal. Basically saying, hey, get away. I'm super jealous.
Just like people. I mean, there's jealousy for attention, but there's also big, I think big items are toys.
Right.
And when the food and the water bowls are out.
Right. That's an excellent point, because what you're drawing from is basically a subset that most behaviorists would call resource guarding. So you're these are the resources: food, toys, maybe a certain place in the house,
and
but
survival.
and survival.
So we're calling it jealousy.
Right.
We're giving a human emotion, but what it really is, and dogs do have two human emotions: fear and love. And so the jealousy is, this person that takes care of me is giving attention to that.
There's a lot of veterinary behaviorists who specialize in this, and they tell you, plain and simple, we're talking about jealousy, we have to remember that there's some complexity to jealousy when we're talking about humans, right? Oh, does this person love me? How do I feel about myself? We're talking about very basic behaviors here. The key is going to have to be structure. So they both have their own toys. They maybe have to be fed in different rooms. If I'm going to show affection to one, then I have to make sure that the other one understands that this is time for this one, or be in another room.
And
so
then the other one gets it too, though. Equal affection.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Courtney, this is fascinating. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Coming up next, how to get beautiful, natural-looking eyebrows.
The brows in your eyelids are the framework of your eyes.
How this tiny tweak can make you look younger today. That's next.
Closed captioning provided by... Whether it's on TV, maybe a magazine cover, or even the catwalk, the biggest fashion trend right now, or so I've been told by all the beautiful ladies I work with, is the brow. So we sent Dr. Berman to see Kelly Baker, who's behind some of the best eyebrows here in Hollywood. Check out her brow intervention.
So what we're going to talk about today, which I think is really important, because some people have brow challenges.
A lot of brow
Either
challenges.
Too full, too thin. And the really over-tweezed brow, by the way, which may have been in vogue years ago, actually ages the face.
100%.
So Peggy over-tweezed.
Yeah. So what we're going to do on her, there's not a whole lot to really shape. I'm definitely going to trim them a little bit. And then I'm just going to show you how to use a highlighter and fill them in to make her brows look fuller. I think it's best for her that we do put a little bit of a brow tint on them just to make them more defined and stand out more.
What do you think?
Isn't that cool?
Yes. So Esmeralda, did you overpluck at one time your brows? Yes. So I can see here, to me, and then the amateur, it looks thick there and very sparse. So your brows don't always grow back.
Right.
So ladies, don't do this at home.
I do tweezers. So that's the shape. Now we're going to do the highlighter first. And then we're going to use our smudge brush. This is going to lift the brow and conceal any of those holes. Now I'm going to go in with the brown powder. We want it to look as natural as possible.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God. Isn't it cool?
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. I want to cry. It's so cool.
And that's what the power of an eyebrow can do.
Wow.
Well, you're officially our new brow interventionist. Did you learn a few cool tips?
What I learned, important, is the highlight. What she showed, that highlighting pencil under the brow lifts it, gives you like a little lift for us older
And
ladies.
gives that natural arch. You want
Gives
that
you the
high
arch
point
and the lift and
outer
brightens
third.
the eye.
And if you want to see step-by-step the brow intervention, we're going to have that on our website, thedrkiwi.com. Let's see what's coming up next.
Now it's time to reveal today's word of the day. Everyone at home can enter for a chance to win a mystery giveaway when you go to thedoctorstv.com and enter today's word. Eyebrows.
Well, we're headed into the weekend, and what better way to get the fun started than with some fantastic doctor's deals?
That's right.
Well, I've got Paul Anderson here with me, and we're excited to show you these great products that are available exclusively to our viewers. So let's do it, Mal.
Right, and this is so exciting because anytime something great shows up at my office and my girls go crazy, I know it's a good one.
Ooh.
This is a good one. These are the Genevieve Jewelry Diamond Hoop Earrings. There's several different types. You can see that they're intertwined. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah, nice
in the
silk.
rose gold, in the mix of the 18 karat, and you can see the silver, all the different designs. I love them so much.
I do too.
Knock out your Christmas shopping right now.
How's this going to set us back?
Well, the Genevieve Jewelry Diamond Hoops usually retail for $240, but you get them for only $39.
$39?
With the doctor's deal. That's a discount of 84%. Look at that. A ring, I'm telling you.
Whoa, how pretty.
I know. Check this out. If you work out at all, and I know you do,
Yes.
have you ever thought about you need your own yoga mat? Why? Because they're kind of nasty in the gyms.
Absolutely, and they're always tough to carry around.
Exactly. But look at this, because they come in beautiful colors in a carrying case. Aren't they great?
They are.
Well, this is a really good deal, too, because the Lotus Rocks yoga mat usually retails for $98, but with our doctor's deal, it's just $39. That's a discount of 60%. And to go with the yoga mat, we've got the Be Up Yoga Capri and leggings. Aren't these great?
And they've got that great, nice, tight spandex, so you're not, you know.
Exactly, but it's not so tight that it's not relaxing.
That's right.
So it's really, really good.
It's breathable.
It's very breathable. And these yoga pants, these fabulous capri pants, retail for $76, and the full-length pants retail for $79. But with the doctor's deal, you only pay $29.
Oh, you can't.
That's a discount of 62 and 63%.
You cannot beat that. Give me the snake print any day. Mal, thank you so much for sharing these great products with us. To everyone at home, you can get all of these doctor's deals, plus 2 extra exclusive deals you didn't see here today at thedoctorsdeals.com. And remember, these deals are only available in the United States. Yep, and here's what's coming up after the break.
Coming up next.
All right, y'all ready for my doctor's prescription on how to open up these clamshell packages? They're so difficult and so painful. Why did they put them in here in the first place?
Find out what's in your kitchen right now that you never knew could help you open a package without cutting yourself. That's next.
Quitting smoking greatly reduces the risk of developing smoking-related diseases, things like lung and heart disease, cancer, even diabetes. In this weekend's USA Weekend magazine, our HealthSmart column will focus on steps to help you kick the habit once and for all. If you are looking to quit, choose a quit day. Mark that day on the calendar. It can be a special day, maybe your birthday, or any day that's not likely to be stressful. Also, clear out smoking reminders. Get rid of ashtrays, lighters, and of course, any stashed cigarettes. Give your home and car a really good clean to get rid of any lingering smoke smells. And finally, think about feelings, activities, or even situations that you associate with smoking or even give you an urge to smoke. Try and find ways to deal with them or even avoid them. For more information, check out our HealthSmart column this weekend in USA Weekend magazine. A complete listing of newspapers featuring USA Weekend magazine, that's at thedoctorstv.com. All right, y'all ready for my doctor's prescription on how to open up these clamshell packages? They're so difficult and so painful. Why did they put them in here in the first place?
Oh, I hate that.
Childproof, so you don't steal them? I don't know.
Can opener. Why? Well, number one, you avoid the risk of cutting your finger off.
Oh, yeah,
and trust me, we've seen this.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So place the package on the side just like this, okay? And the edge is gonna face up, like so. So what you're gonna do, take the bottle opener. Instead of opening a bottle, of course, you're opening the package. Clamp down, and let's see if I can do this.
Travis,
Really?
it's like
Is
you're
that
putting in
opening
a
it?
chest tube.
You see
Look
that?
at this.
Is it opening it? Is it working? Nice. Voila!
Wow.
It worked.
This is really important. We know we're gonna have more on how to make your brows look fabulous.
Yeah.
Web exclusive. But we actually have a really cool way to get camera ready
Yeah, we do.
for
Ready?
the brows. Thanks so much for being with us. See you next time.